to counter the decks. And that's exactly how it worked out in the last game. They took Firebat won the first game, and they just countered decks back and forth, with Firebat sort of getting the last say. What do you think is the deck that you can come back with, that you can say, hey, I lost the first match, but I'm going to pick this deck that I know can beat a lot of the classes that a lot of the people have been running today? Is there such a deck? Does such a magical deck exist?
I think Miracle is one of the best decks at doing it, which we've seen surprisingly little of so far up until now. On top of that, you can play something like Shaman or Druid, just a solid mid-range deck that's kind of either 60% or 40% in most matchups. A deck like that can more or less beat anything. So I feel like decks like Handlock and Hunter are a lot more volatile in terms of matchups. They're either fantastic matchups or almost unwinnable ones. So personally, I was hoping to see more flexible decks, more mid-range stuff, a bit more. That is certainly some Wamp.
Wamp. We're gonna put some visual sound effects on the screen for you guys to enjoy this Miracle Rogue with. But like I said earlier, we are going to be only producing from Wampie's point of sight. We couldn't get Isokass' stream to work.
Yep.
So instead of making you guys wait to try and get that done, since this is a third place match, we're just going to go ahead and go through it. So it'll just be, we'll just get to see the miracles happen from one side.
Yep. Looks like Miracle Rogue versus Handlock. Handlock did get the coin. I think that's advantageous for the Handlock in this matchup. This is a bad matchup for Rogue generally, but anything can happen. Wampie does have access to a lot of ways to deal with big creatures. I don't think you want to sap here because it just gives your opponent like a good 4-drop to replay. Yeah, see here he has to life tap instead of just replaying Drake. So I like his decision to not sap there. If you're not going to sap, you got to kind of consider cold-blooding to kill it. But he's sitting on a lot of damage. Maybe the plan is to just ignore the guys at this point. Play Azure Drake, go face, use sap to clear a taunt, and yeah, hope it's good enough. That Ancient Watcher is a problem for him though. When Isokass does end up playing a taunt, it's going to create 2 of them, so that sap isn't going to allow Leroy to punch through on his own.
Yeah, I mean, he does have some damage in his hand to deal with it, but I don't think it's quite enough to deal with both taunts, plus have enough firepower to be able to take him out before he has enough damage. I mean, the one thing, though, is that it against the Handlock, it's if you can clear the taunts off the board, you don't need all of the pieces of your combo later in the game to finish him off if you find an opening, because, of course, he's going to be at a lower health total than any other class war. So instead of having, like, double Shadow Step Leroy, all you'll need is Shadow Step Leroy. So you can use a lot of those cards as removal in a situation where you would normally have to save those for later on in the game to finish the game.
It is worth noting it's another turn with no threat played. So it's only been that Twilight Drake applying pressure. These are the kinds of games that Miracle deck wins against Handlock. When you're not chaining large creatures into Faceless Manipulators or large creatures into more large creatures, like you're just not putting a lot of pressure on the Rogue deck as the Handlock. So you get in these situations where the Rogue deck starts to have a lot of cards and a lot of mana to work with, and it can just deal with your one threat, and then all of a sudden the Rogue deck becomes the first class playing threats every turn.
Well, that play is going to take the taunts off the board. So this is sort of that open window that he has. If he life taps, doesn't get something on the board with a taunt, a Shadow Step or a Cold Blood will... Well, I guess maybe not a Cold Blood, but a Shadow Step will straight up win the game next turn. But does he have it?
Backstab draw. Yeah, just gotta... Ooh, does that help? Well, it helps with that Van Cleef. Do you prep Shiv here just to see what you draw? I think I might.
Yeah, because a Shadow Step wins you the game.
Yeah.
And you would need 7 mana to pull off the combo, so...
It's probably better than 10% odds, too, because I think he has less than 20 cards in his deck, so that's 2 Shadow Steps.
He could just put out a huge Van Cleef, but that'd be
He did see a Siphon Soul get discarded, so the odds that it lives are higher. But yeah, Iron Beak Owl, Big Game Hunter, a second Siphon Soul. Lots of things could answer it.
He's really thinking about it, but I really think that prep saving prep for auctioneer. I don't think you're gonna. I don't know. It just seems like that's going to be a little bit too slow paced. Isokass has been playing pretty slow paced this turn. You said the only threat he had on the board, the only threat that he has had on the board for this whole game was that one Twilight Drake. So there's the prep. There's the shit.
All right, I like that play. Oh.
The prep.
Yeah, just Van Cleef, save your spells. I like this too. I wouldn't go all in there.
It's a relatively big Van Cleef.
Do apologize for the overlay a bit, guys. I did whip this together myself in MS Paint in the 5 minutes I had between streaming and launching this, so don't judge, please.
Wamp. We're staring at blank card backs. I have to read the art of the cards here. Well, Molten Giant, but unless he has a taunt, I'm not sure if this is...
I just doesn't have it.
What is he at, 11 health?
Yeah, that's what I see.
That's game. Such an underwhelming hand lock. Just didn't get the draws that he needed, I guess, and Wampie's going to take game one with the Miracle Rogue. He pulls out the Miracle, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, the matchup is just so heavily reliant on how many 4-drops the handlock deck draws. Those Twilight Drakes and Mountain Giants. If you draw only one, then the matchup favors Rogue slightly. But if you draw 2 of them, it heavily favors handlock. So it was one of those cases where he only drew 1, and yeah, Miracle takes it.
So he's going to be forced to play the Miracle again. And, I mean, you think of Miracle Rogue, and a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, well, handlock's a great matchup against Miracle Rogue. Well, now he doesn't have the handlock anymore. So what do you go for next? What do you think has the best chance of taking a game off the Miracle Rogue to take it off the table, basically?
Hunter is not bad against it. The really aggressive one, depending. It's a lot of decks can beat it. Fast Druid, Shaman sometimes. Miracle. I wonder if he has aggro Rogue, actually. That could really do it.
So the Rogue versus Rogue matchup, no.
Rogue is one of the best hard counters to Rogue, but not Miracle. Like, aggro Rogue is one of the best hard counters to Miracle Rogue. So if that's one of the decks that Isokass registered, yeah, we could see a pretty one-sided game here.
Well, it's a mirror match, so
we don't know that yet, though. That's what I mean.
I'm looking at his registered decks.
Oh wow!
I was like, wait, is it? No, it's. I think the decks are. I'm on a delay, so we can say this, and this is the 3rd place match, so they're not going to play any more matches with these decks, but they're identical. The decks are identical.
Ah, cool. All right, so this definitely heavily favors Wampie then, because he got coin. That's mostly what it comes down to. His hand right now isn't ideal. Like, there's no Auctioneer, there's no Azure Drake, there's no Assassin's Blade, there's no 5-drop or Van Cleef to really have a strong threat. But he has time to draw it. He definitely doesn't need it just yet. Oh, that's an insane draw. Oh man, that lets him Blood Mage backstab. Save his life. Save his weapon durability. That's huge. Life total is such an important resource in the Miracle Rogue mirror match. But, yeah, it's fine, I guess. What you really want is just one 5-drop threat, like an Azure Drake or a Gadgetzin, and then your Farseers, and just a constant stream of pressure.
We did have both deadly poisons. Well, there's that 5-drop that you're talking about. Yep. Both, okay.
This is why I didn't like attacking last turn, though. He could develop a Farseer here if he just saved that durability. But yeah, this hand is just so fantastic. It's gonna be really tough to lose this from Wampie's side, because you get a preparation sap here on top of your Auctioneer. Or maybe even Azure Drake prep sap.
I think he's
Ooh,
just going to auctioneer and draw his whole deck.
Yep, that's definitely better than that. You have double preparation and you can coin into conceal. This is pretty gross. He would still have a dagger too if he saved the first durability. He would have a dagger at 1.
Just watch. Whoa.
Okay. I don't like that. Yeah, I would have kept going. I think.
He had coin. He has prep.
I mean, to be fair, he has like double Azure Drake, so he's not going to run out of cards this game. But
well, I guess he can't guarantee what he's going to draw with that prep because if he preps, he couldn't go for the deadly poison because he doesn't have a weapon. Wouldn't have enough mana for the weapon. Even if he coins, he's pretty much forced to draw into only conceal is what he'd be looking for with those cards. Well, I guess not. He could draw into a Shiv or that still wouldn't give him enough firepower. So I don't know. I guess this is okay. Like you said, he's not going to really run out of cards anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, this is like. All right, eviscerate. So the nice thing here for Wampie is Isokass didn't have the preparation. If he did have access to preparation, he could have dealt with that auctioneer while developing an Azure Drake of his own. So this is pretty much just a whole lot of RNG going the wrong way for Isokass in terms of draws.
If he'd prepped last turn, he would have drawn into the conceal.
Yeah, that would have been good. Oh man. Whoa. Yeah, okay. I would have just concealed there personally, but that plays fine. Concealing while they have spell power out is a bit dangerous because 1 deadly poison Blade Flurry does kill the 4 health minions that are concealed. We'll see how far Azure Drake can take it. I mean, to Isokass's credit, he is up quite a few cards, right? And this is the turn where he can develop an Azure Drake again that was sapped earlier, and then either sap Wampie's Azure Drake or eviscerate it if he has a second eviscerate. So also backstab plus just attacking is an answer. A lot of ways that he could get really far ahead here. Okay, backstab plus what? Shiv plus attack. That's fine. I mean, you don't usually want to attack Drakes in this matchup because, like I said, your life total is very important. But I suppose in this case it's worth it. But didn't he? Am I misremembering the Azure Drake? I thought he had his Azure Drake sapped. Wouldn't it have been better to backstab plus Shiv and not take damage? You draw 1 less. Well, you draw 2 less cards, but you'd save 4 points of life.
I think it depends on his hand. If he's trying to draw into more threats, then... Well, I guess, no, you still would have drawn the same amount of cards. Yeah, I guess you're right. I think that probably would have been the better play. Because in the end, you draw a card from the Azure Drake, you draw a card from the Shiv. You drew 3 cards from the Auctioneer. So you draw 1 less card, but you take 4 less damage.
Why is this happening?
Here we go.
Oh. Man, they love weaponing creatures. Yeah, I don't know. I would have played Azure Drake and sapped. That's me. He is like running low on resources, to be fair. So I guess.
Well, another benefit of Azure Drake Sap, he had 9 cards. Isokass actually had 9 cards in his hand.
Yeah, would have burned one. If you burn Leroy, it's a free win.
Yeah.
This guy's toast.
Let's see. Oh, attack again. Yep. All right. I mean,
They love attacking those creatures.
they do. Let's see what Azure Drake hits. I really hope we're playing Azure Drake this turn.
That's a prep. Okay. Well, I mean, 19 health is really not that much. He's got the deadly poison on already, so he's getting close. He's got Leroy. He's got a single Shadow Step.
I think you prep sap Farseer here. I'm not sure what that preparation is being saved for. You see a lot of Miracle players do this. It's yeah, you have to Farseer here. That's just better, right? Like you use your prep so you can Farseer. Here, he's already going to draw infinite cards if he draws Auctioneer.
He might be saving it just for that combo, I guess. The Eviscerate, the extra little burst damage right at the end. If he doesn't draw into, say, like a Cold Blood or the second Shadow Step quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just as likely that you'll.
I guess you conceal here. And oh, my brain. Oh, my mind. Okay. Okay, so do you attack the 3/3? Oh, I guess we are. Yeah, I don't.
My hand is
Oh,
too full.
I disagree with every single decision that was made that turn down to attacking the 3/3. I think
Like,
if you're gonna, oh man, like you have lethal, right? So the way that you don't have lethal is your opponent playing Farseer, and whether you attack that SI or not, you're taking 3 damage from it no matter what. So like, it sort of plays around Cold Blood. If your opponent, like in some world where your opponent doesn't have Leroy and they have Cold Blood, attacking that prevents some damage, but you should just save your weapon durability to go to the face to make sure you have lethal through a through Farseer Shadow Step stuff.
He's got lethal next turn regardless. Leroy double shadow step. He'll have 9 mana, so that's
Yeah, it's 18 plus
18.
plus Azure, right? 22. But if he Farseer Shadow Step, it wouldn't be lethal.
yeah. I guess that's true.
He still probably wins either way. Like it's not a huge deal, but
Well played.
if you went like Auctioneer, Farseer Shadow Step, then he wouldn't have lethal, and there's a chance.
Watch the miracles happen.
Yep.
What?
We
Shadow
feel
Step it?
Yakety Sacks for this.
He shadow stepped its back in his hand. That looks like a miracle to me.
Oh man.
Wait, did it again?
Why would he return a creature that doesn't have Battle Cry?
What?
Oh! Oh, it has. Oh, it's charging. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, it looks
Yeah.
like the miracle was on the side of Wampie once again. He's going to take a 2-0 lead with this Miracle Rogue deck, and Isokass now on the ropes. And that whole win the first game advantage is good and all, but it's even more of an advantage when you win the first 2 games. And now he's running out of counters for this Rogue deck. You said, and that wasn't even an aggro Rogue, so I guess it's not really a counter if you consider the mirror matchup. So you
Yeah.
said Face Hunter is a good option. But he's running out of decks. They can only pick 4. We'll have
Yeah, I
to
mean,
see
you
what
have to-
Isokass's last deck is.
It really says a lot when he picks Miracle Rogue against Miracle Rogue. I've been in that situation before. What that says is that he thinks that 50% is the best he can do against Miracle Rogue. Out of all the decks he has left, he chose the mirror. So every deck he'll pick from here on out has a below 50% chance of winning in the eyes of Isokass.
Job's done.
And yeah, Druid is generally considered a favorable matchup for Rogue. This time the Druid does have the coin though. He's got that going in his favor. I'm not quite sure yet what kind of Druid it is. Maybe it's an aggressive one. As long as it's the kind that draws wild growth.
Oh god. The tingles.
Oh.
Corn Innervate Yeti.
Oh. Oh, that Eviscerate though. That was a great draw. He's a natural out to it. Let's see if he's got the... I've never seen the Innervate, or not never, but I've rarely seen the Innervate Yeti followed by Wild Growth draw. That is the absolute dream. Turn 1 Yeti, turn 2 Wild Growth, turn 3 Yeti. The curve of champions.
It's like auto lose.
It's a really good draw, actually. I think you prep Eviscerate SI.
He could save taking 4 damage to the face by doing
Yeah, you could also try saving the prep for Auctioneer. It's a bit of a greedier play, but it's not the worst.
Well, this turn sets up the next turn Deadly Poison SI, so if he slams the Earthen Ring
That's true.
Farseer into the...
This is actually a bit better, I think, yeah. I like this play.
Auctioneer Prep Conceal.
I mean, maybe I'm a little too aggressive with my preparation. Yeah, this play is definitely better, though. Like, I mean, do you attack the golem here? I guess, yeah. Plays around Defender of Argus or something. Sure. Yeah, oh man, the turn 5 Gadgets and Prep Conceal. It's so gross. You could even wait a turn, Gadgets and Prep Eviscerate Conceal. It's a really good spot for the Rogue deck at this point. He has exactly what he wants to have in his hand. A bunch of uninteractive removal and card draw, and yeah.
And
That is the dream.
the best way to describe the Miracle Rogue is you're not really playing against the Miracle Rogue; they're just playing against themselves.
Oh man, that Azure Drake is such a good draw. He shouldn't play Auctioneer here. That's bad. See, like now he has to choose between eviscerating and concealing. So now he can't play 2 5-drops back to back unless he draws a second prep. I would have gone Azure Drake that turn for sure. And then the next turn you can go Gadgets and prep, eviscerate, and conceal all at once. And you're still forcing your opponent to deal with that Drake. Like, he'd have to spend his whole turn swiping your Drake. He's not just going to let it live. Oh, that backstab, though. That's such a good draw.
Yeah. Well, actually, he could Drake, then backstab, and then kill the Druid of the Claw with his Deadly Poison, but he's actually just going to opt for card draw.
I agree with his play, too. The Drake play is fine, but this lets you... This gives you like the chance to draw a chain of spells and just get even more value out of this Auctioneer that you're pretty much 100% sure is dying next turn. I think you actually cycle the Shadow Step on Blood Mage before you prep. It doubles your chances of keeping the spell chain going. Because you don't really need 2 Shadow Steps with this hand. Or you could actually just attack the 2/4 and then just Shadow Step the Auctioneer itself. That's actually probably the best play. Yeah. You kill the Keeper, you Shadow Step your Auctioneer, and then you just play Blood Mage, I think, as a Loot Hoarder.
Poor Blood Mage.
So many options, though. It's just like, it's a really tough game to lose this spot.
Choose soon.
If I were playing, I would find a way to lose, but it's... Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the tougher parts of Miracle Rogue, is these decisions that right now, you don't think that they're really going to have much of an effect on the game. Like, okay, well, there's a couple of options that have slightly different outcomes. But that all
Mistakes.
accumulate as the game progresses, and then either win you or lose you the game. What did he do?
Oh, he lagged. Or just, like, he was really slow on clicking the battle cry, so it didn't finish.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see if it ends up mattering. You're still just like so insanely far ahead. This game is just so difficult to lose. You Blood Mage prep, fan of knives. I mean, you should prep before Blood Maging, but yeah, this is fine. Yeah, attack that. I mean, maybe just eviscerate it to save life. Eviscerate face. No, I guess he has another Auctioneer. He doesn't need to use this eviscerate on nothing right now.
Yeah. And you can even get the double spell power to eviscerate on the next turn if the Blood Mage survives.
Yeah, missing out on getting that Farseer in play was definitely a big deal, but despite not using 4 of his mana on turn 6, he's still really far ahead because Gadgets and Auctioneer is a card. It's pretty sick. Yeah, Miracle Rogue is so good.
Yeah, I mean, despite how good his draws have been, and Isokass is running low on cards, his health total is getting pretty low, 17. He's got to be careful with what he uses his weapon to attack with what he leaves on the board, because he's getting dangerously close to the Force of Nature Savager combo.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a chance the Druid wins this game, but I think Wampie's going to be pretty mindful of that 14-point life total, and make sure that he Shadow Steps Earthen Ring or something like that to stay out of range.
Isokass's hand is just so thin right now. It's ooh, that's dangerous. 15. He does have the Earthen Ring, so
yeah. Shiv, SI. Or I guess Azure Drake, Shiv is better. This is fine too, though.
Ha, this guy's toast.
Is that leaving with 2 mana? Yeah.
Yep. Bash, new weapon.
Yep. I mean, he's got so many answers in his hand. Well, I wish we could see what Isokass has. I mean, he did pull the swipe from the left side of his deck, so he wasn't holding on to Force of Nature Savager combo as his last 2 cards. But I mean, even right now, Azure Drake is good for him.
Hypothetically, right? If his hand was Force combo and he top deck Innervate there, He had lethal. There's always a way.
There's always a way. Miracle Druid.
Where shall I strike?
That's nice.
Yep. So now we're at the point where the rogue deck is just trying to think of the ways that it could lose and playing around those potential outcomes. I mean, I think you sap the 4/6. You could, because if you kill it with like backstab plus SI, how do you deal with Azure Drake? So I think you sap that. Backstab Blade Flurry, I guess. Definitely doesn't want to attack the Azure Drake. It's got to stay above 14. So it doesn't die to Force of Nature.
Here we go.
Yeah, looks like he agrees. Yeah, I had the option of Blade Flurry there. Could have also Shadow Step the SI, finished off the Azure Drake.
Ooh, okay. This could be tough to chew through. There's really no clean way to deal with these.
Yeah, it's true. Just use Blade Flurry. I mean, double Druid of the Claw is pretty strong, but I just up so many cards at this point. I think you'll be able to power through it. If Wampie can set up, well, think about this. It's really awkward that he can't attack with the SI and Shadow Step in the same turn.
So many.
You know, the Druid deck might be able to come out all right. Yes, it's actually crazy. He might, if he has Force Combo, he's going to win this game.
Here
His
we
deck's
go.
starting to get a little thin, and so is Wampie's.
Lights out.
The thing is, there's no way to deal with this board right now without exposing yourself to Force Combo. So, like,
Except for that. No, because he already did. What's his health total?
11 it looks like.
11. Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at a very pixelated Skype screen share, so it's a little tough to make out life totals sometimes. But yeah, I mean, if he has the Force Combo here,
Yeah, regardless if he Earthen Rings next turn or... Yeah, he's still going to be within combo, so he's sort of on a time clock here. And he only has... there's 13 cards left in Isokass's deck. And what was that, 3 cards left in Wampie's deck? I believe is what I saw. So one of those is Leroy.
that's true. I mean, he can Farseer, Shadow Step Farseer, play a Van Cleave.
Take heart. The Earth Mother is near.
He's got to be happy there. No combo. Lives to see another day.
I'm almost out of cards.
Oh,
My eyes are open.
so he's got 19. It's not enough. Yeah, I mean, double Farseer doesn't even save you from the combo, though.
Eyes are open.
But I guess it's the best battle cry. You don't want to draw more cards.
But
Bouncing Van Cleef doesn't accomplish anything.
but if he Shadow Step there the Farseer, you're not going to have enough firepower to take him down, I don't think.
Yeah, you're right. You can't... I don't know if I like not playing Van Cleef there. You need every turn possible to attack with that.
Here we go.
I'm trying to think what cards could be left in Wampie's deck at this point. I'm pretty sure he only runs 1 Cold Blood.
Those Druid of the Claws, man. So sick. This game's crazy. Like, it looked so good for Rogue. Like, halfway through, but it's just like... It's one of those games where the Druid deck just has had so much taunt, so much life gain, so many answers that... and mostly it was the fact that Leroy was so low in the deck. Although, actually, I don't know if the Druid was ever low enough. It's just a really crazy game. Sometimes you see the Rogue deck just not quite have enough damage to close it out. This is one of those rare cases where it might happen. It
Yeah.
still looks pretty good, though, for the Rogue.
I think this is one of the decks that it happens to. this is the deck with the Gnomish Inventor for the extra card draw.
Mhm.
And usually they take out the second Cold Blood, or and he runs 2 Saps as well. So I think Sap is in spite of a second Cold Blood or a second. Sometimes, yeah. I think it's been a while since people have ran 2 Conceals.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, personally, I've always been a fan of like Assassin's Blade 0 Cold Blood, but yeah, this is.
Do you run 2 Blade players if you go Assassin's Blade?
Yeah, always. My God, well, I can't see Isokass' life total, but
I think he's close to winning.
I think he's 1 short, if I'm not mistaken. The only issue with Leroying now is like you're getting yourself killed by Savage Roar, but you kind of need to, or else.
Go. Well,
Yeah, if he doesn't make this play in this way, he can't.
Well played.
There's so many things I don't like about this. But yeah, 1 Savage Roar on Force of Nature, it's over.
Or an Arctic Knight. That's going to win
Yeah.
the game also.
I would have attacked the Whelp there, so that he can't just trade the board for the Van Cleef, but yeah, it's wow, what a crazy game. The Rogue deck was so far ahead the entire time. It just ran out of damage. I
See,
really didn't expect that.
The small decisions. If you go back and watch that game, I'm sure there was one of those decisions that you were questioning.
It was the Azure Drake play. It was
The
the turn
Azure
where he played Shiv SI Agent instead of Azure Drake Shiv. He had 2 mana wasted and he got 2 less damage out of his cards throughout the course of the game because the spell power didn't matter later. So that was like, I think that's where it went wrong. It's one of the many spots where it could have been played differently.
Must protect the wild. Your soul shall be mine.
But yeah, all right. So it looks like we got Handlock now.
Handlock versus Druid. This is the quintessential matchup that I said. Wampie versus
Yeah. It
or
looks
Handlock
like
versus Druid.
Isokass is playing the normal fast Druid deck though, which in my opinion is actually favored against Handlock. And I say this as a player who plays a lot of Handlock. It's a scary matchup if he does play Big Game Hunter, the Druid that is.
Just because they have so much damage, so many threats, like instant threats, like with Dark Commanders and the combos.
Yeah, none of their creatures are good to Siphon Soul except Ancient Allure. If they drop Big Game Hunter, you can't get the early game lead. They're always threatening lethal if they have a creature in play. And you get yourself down to that lethal range by yourself by life tapping, so there's just a number of reasons. Whoa. Oh, that feels dirty watching that. Oh, I don't like that. I would have just Farseered. It's not that bad. I'm always so picky with Handlock play. I don't know. Somewhere around the 2000th game you play a deck, you feel like... you feel
like you're the master, that everybody else's moves are bad.
No. You just feel like there's a certain plays are right or they're wrong. That's how I feel about Handlock. With a lot of other decks, it's like subjective though, because you're playing around stuff. I mean, his play isn't necessarily wrong. I mean, it's not what I would have done, but yeah, like it might actually work out for the best. He's basically taking like 6 damage from Sun Fury that he doesn't have to, but he does have the option of healing up his 8/8 after attacking the 5/5 now. Probably wants to save that for himself, though. Yeah, Innervate Allure, pretty strong. I mean, it looks kind of rough for the Druid deck here, but it can still go either way. Wampie does have the Defender. He can protect himself from Force Combo, that's for sure. But the earliest it can come out is next turn, if he has a second Innervate plus the combo.
Yeah. It doesn't look like he's drawn the Big Game Hunter, or else he would have definitely used it by this point. So you said that's usually a big indication of whether or not a Druid's going to be successful in this matchup, is how early on. Oh wow, he's just okay.
Yeah.
He's going to opt to clear it. Okay.
Yeah, it really does come down to that big game hunter. All right, Hellfire here is pretty reasonable. It looks like the only clean play that I see. I guess you Hellfire and then you play Ancient Watcher in the middle because you don't.
So
You,
many
well,
possibilities.
fuck. It's really tough. It might just be better to taunt because, yeah, Hellfire deals 3 damage to you and it puts 3 damage on both of your guys. Whereas if you just let him keep his creatures, that's pretty much how much damage they're putting on your guys anyway. Although it does get him more. It does let the Druid get more damage out of Savage Roar.
That's a weird Ancient Watcher placement.
Yeah, you should put that in the middle, but whatever.
Doesn't give him any option of whether or not he can taunt up both Watchers or taunt up the Giant.
Yep.
It's either one Watcher or a Giant and a Watcher. That's it. Well, Wampie has a big game hunter.
Yeah, he does. It's strong in the mirror match. Good in tournaments. I like playing big game hunter and handlock in tournaments most of the time.
What about the Sunwalker? What do you feel about Sunwalker and Handlock?
Meh. I play commanders.
Okay, I've talked to a lot of Handlock players about the Sunwalker edition. I've seen quite a bit of it, but some people want to kill the people that play Sunwalker and Handlock. They're so against it.
Pretty bad. Like, I don't know. I think Argent Commander I like because I play the deck very aggressively. But yeah, Sunwalker's there's worse cards you can play. I've seen people play stuff like Cairn, Sylvanas, like people that play Ragnaros. Oh man, those people upset me.
Yeah, I don't like Ragnaros in any of my decks.
I feel yeah. I just feel insulted when people play Ragnaros against me out of handlock. Oh man.
What to do?
That's okay though. So, handlock deck really far ahead at this point. It's yeah, no early big game hunter just makes that double mountain giant draw nearly unstoppable. There are cases where you draw like Twilight Drake and the Druid deck draws Keeper of the Grove. Like when your threats match up the right way, that the Druid deck has some time to force a nature you. Those are the games the Druid deck wins. But yeah, handlock can definitely win. It is a close matchup, but I do think it favors Druid something like 60-40 if they play big game hunt.
I think this is game. If he throws his Ancient Watcher into the Druid of Claw, Mortal Coils, Power Overwhelmings, no, he'd be one short. No, he would have Lethal. And then Hellfires.
I'm looking at a giant gray screen at the moment, so I can't quite make it out, but
No, you have
there we go.
to. You have to read the pixels.
yeah. All right, if he defendered, what did
No,
he
yeah,
have?
it's lethal with
It is
the
lethal.
Hellfire.
Yeah.
It was hard
Okay.
to tell. I was looking at the 4th pixel out of 5 instead of the 3rd
gotcha.
one. Alrighty, well, that's going to be Wampie. He's going to take that series 3-1. So after a painful 3rd place match, unfortunately, we couldn't get Isokass' stream to work. We actually do have these streams ready and set up for the grand final match, so it shouldn't be as much of a delay moving into the grand final match. But congratulations to Wampie for taking 3rd place in the tournament. Also, big congratulations to Isokass. He was one of our guest invites, one of the teamless players that joined us. 4th place is really nothing to scoff at. He went 3-0 in the group stages. So we are going to have to take a quick break before we jump into the grand finals. It shouldn't be too much longer. But it is a team good guy matchup here in the grand finals between Dart and Firebat. So thank you guys for watching. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the grand finals here at Hearth Wars.